Hello and welcome back to Always Off Brand. I am your co-host, Summer Jubileer, along with Scott Oshman. Hello, Scott.
Good morning, Summer.
And we've got Hayley Brucker. Hayley in the news.
Good morning.
Well, band's back together. This is making me so happy.
I know. Where have you guys been? It's been so long. I've missed you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where have we been? I don't even know.
Summer's been a lot of places.
I've been at funerals and ERs and sickness. So I am a Debbie Downer. Let's move on.
Let's move on. I don't want to talk about my whole situation with my wife's Achilles surgery, migraines, everything else. Let's move on.
I was gone last Friday. I went to Deer Valley and spent a snowy weekend.
That's right. That's fun.
Matt
but I really want to hear about. You're now an influencer.
No, Scott. I am a hen-fluencer.
A hen-fluencer. Please.
I am a hen-fluencer. I'm kind of a big deal. I don't know if you know. So a few weeks back, or I guess it's been a few months back now, we had the Desire Company on our lovely little podcast here.
Yeah,
Eric from the Desire Company, and he partners UGC creators with brands and retailers.
But not just UGC creators, but like people who are really in it. Like they are experts in their field.
In fact,
and professionals in their fields. Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's like elevated. It's not
I think it's a great fit for our guest company. We'll get into that later.
Well, I got partnered with Tractor Supply. I just received 2 brand new chicken coops, like via FedEx freight to my front door, which was a hilarious thing. Like they were on pallets. It was a whole thing. I got 2 brand new chicken coops. I am in discussions with this like production team. They're going to come out to my farm in a couple weeks and film me. I have this entire like schedule of events and what I'm supposed to talk about and kind of an outline. And this is a legit thing. And I'm so excited, but I'm going to have to call a friend and borrow some chickens.
What?
Well, okay.
What?
So I
would never call
25 birds when I made this deal.
Yeah. 25. That's a lot. Is that a lot? That feels like a lot. It sounds
not a lot for me, but I have a huge thing. Anyways, long story short, a pack of hungry coyotes took out like 90% of them.
See, this is
so I'm down to 4. I have 4 birds.
Can you imagine?
I can't be a farmer. I can't do it.
I just think about those 4 chickens that survived and the trauma and PTSD they must have.
Well, Bojangles is a trooper, man. She's been around for a really long time. Bojangles is like an OG chicken. She's probably like 5 years old at this point.
I bet she's got her hiding spot, and then when people try to she like kicks them out, like get out, get out. She's got some sort of spot that she's hiding.
Oh, so Bojangles and Petrie made it, and then my Tom Turkey, who's this big rooster, and Tammy the rooster all made it. So, if you're following.
You can't name them, though, because they're again, livestock is dead stock, and I just can't get into the name game.
It's a circle of life, Scott.
It is a circle.
There was a very hungry coyote family, and like they had kits to feed.
Anyways,
I'm
not cut out for
this whole thing, but I am a hen-fluencer.
That's so
Hayley.
cool.
I love this. And you're going to have to, after you do it, we should just do a pod about it. And you have to let us know, like, how much money are you making? So we got to get down to the numbers. Like
they're paying me really well, actually.
Amazing.
So I'm super excited about this. So you know what? I'll have some I'll film some personal content and we can have some fun with that. So I don't know if I'm allowed to though, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, well, you have to check your contract. Okay,
I got to check my contract. My agent,
Did you put in a rider like you only want celery cut in 1/4 inches pieces, and I want Triscuits with the edges cut? Did you put in a whole rider?
It's the episode of Friends where Chandler doesn't, it's where Chandler is Joey's assistant and Joey doesn't want pulp in his OJ. I said no pulp.
I'm curious about your glam. Like, when's the hair appointment? Who's coming out to do the makeup? That's what I want to know.
Me. It's all me.
Girl. No, get it. This is your moment.
What am I gonna wear? I haven't thought about all these details, Summer.
Yes.
Well, maybe our guests can help. It's time to. That was not a good transition. We don't pride ourselves in good transitions. Do we?
Scott, you're the worst.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's nice of you. Okay, well, you know what? If you're gonna play that game, then I got to play this game.
Oh,
okay. Wait a minute. You just called me a boomer, and now you want to go take a nap at 3:30 in the afternoon?
Scott, it's been a hard day.
I just haven't been playing that enough. I had to play it again.
Oh,
That was a really hard day.
Oh,
All right,
okay, Summer.
let's get the music going. Let's get our guests. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. We are on the YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bring our guest, Brynn Snyder, to the stage. Oh, boys and girls, cats and dogs, let me tell you who we got today. Not only is she a CEO, co-founder of a just rocket ship, SLATE FLOSSER, she knows more about dentistry than I know sitting in a chair my whole entire life. She is a rock star. She's a mother. She's everything. Ladies and gentlemen, to the stage, it's Brynn Snyder.
Thank you.
Woo, welcome.
Hello.
I'm so excited to be here.
My
Your
gosh.
45th
You know,
podcast.
Scott says he's not a dental expert, but if you knew Scott's dental history, he is an expert because he's in that chair all the time.
I have been toothless in Seattle. I've got like barely anything left. I've got bridges. I've got roads. I've got umbrellas. I got everything.
I'm so excited. If you want, I can teach you all the things that can help you from now on.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm a longtime flosser. Again, SLATE floss, if people don't know what it is. Because again, shame on me. I think Summer, I don't know if I'm speaking. I had no idea what the hell this thing was.
Well, it's because it's a new invention. Most people don't know.
Okay. I feel like we're like 5 hours away. I should know.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta obviously get more press in Seattle. But Washington is one of our most purchased states. So we're excited about that.
Interesting. Well, okay, let's back up. Obviously, we know what you're doing here, but tell our listeners like who you are, what you've created. I mean, you're a business, not just an owner, but a creator. So let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Brynn. I am from Spokane, Washington. Well, actually, I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. I live in Spokane now.
I knew I loved you because you're Canadian. I knew it.
Well, Summer's
Can I
half
just
Canadian.
put a shout out that Canada beat the US in hockey last night?
I watched that entire thing.
Talking to a hockey mom. I mean, it was such a good game. And honestly, with the BS that they're dealing with the States, I'm so glad they won.
I am so glad we won. I don't even want to know what the news would have been like if we didn't.
Yeah.
Karma's a bitch,
So,
isn't it? Okay.
Right. Okay, so then my husband is a dentist and he went to
Danny.
dental.
Can I call him Danny? You call him Dr.
Yes.
Snyder all the time.
Okay, so this is the problem. I used to call him Danny, and then our front desk person got placenta previa and she couldn't work. And so I started working at the office. But if you call him Danny at the office, people are like,
well, who's that? Yeah.
and so I started calling him Dr. Snyder. So whenever I'm in work mode, I call him Dr. Snyder because that's just like my brain now. Because I had to teach myself how to do that then. So it's funny. People are like, why did you just call him Dr. Snyder? Because he actually would prefer to be called Danny, but
How about Dr. Danny?
I was just like, Dr. Danny.
Yeah.
What did the kids call him? Dr.
My husband-
Dad?
Yeah.
they've never had to be in the work environment yet, but they are getting to the age where we're going to make them.
Yeah, you have an oldest. You gotta put that one to work. You got a business to run. You got mouths to feed.
Yeah,
And clean.
exactly.
So your
It's been-
husband's a dentist. Again, we try not to spend all the time telling because you can Google yourself. You've been great. Your husband's a dentist. Your husband figured out this problem when he was flossing one night. He has an electric toothbrush. You've told the story. I love it. It's great.
I haven't heard it, so I would like to hear it.
Oy vey.
Okay, so my husband, did you know that most people have dental anxiety and he was like, I've got to figure out how to help people that are so nervous. So he trained his staff.
Nitrous.
They were like, but
That's
it's
what
like,
I do.
I don't need nitrous. I love the dentist. And so
Me
I'm trying to figure
too.
out, why do I love it and why does he hate it? Well, when he
Right.
was a little kid, he had tons of cavities
Yeah.
and he had bad experiences every time he went to the dentist. And every time I went, didn't have a cavity till I was 27. So I was like, this is the best. I love going and getting my teeth cleaned. So to me, it was like a spa appointment. And to him, it was torture. So he was like, how can I help people tackle this fear? Well, if most people flossed correctly, because most people don't floss correctly, I can help them with cavities and gum disease. So that's going to take care of 90% of teeth problems. So he was like thinking about this problem. And then one night he put his he had a handheld flosser that he put with his Sonicare, and he was like, oh my gosh, an electric flosser. I'm going to go find one. There has to be one. So he like Googled, and he was like, okay, in 1990, there was an electric flosser. What was wrong with it? Why didn't it succeed?
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, if you have an electric flosser and it helps go between the teeth more easily, but it doesn't stimulate the gums, then you're missing half the point of flossing. So that is when we invented the SLATE electric flosser, and we have an awesome patent on our product. And so we're super excited about that. So our product is really cool because it has woven floss to grab the plaque and bacteria, but it also has these little gum sweeps. So they're like little bristles and ribs. So you can actually see the plaque and bacteria that you remove out of your mouth.
Oh,
Listeners,
that's satisfying.
He's showing us the product.
That's like a pimple popper video.
Yes, exactly.
Such an upgrade from my grandma's old water pick.
Yes.
I remember it was like green. It sat on her bathroom counter. I always wondered what it was.
We need a better water pick. I've got one. Yeah.
So don't worry. We're going to send you all flossers if you don't have one yet. So.
I don't have one.
Brynn, do you just have that thing in your pocket at all times, like 24 hours a day? Because every show I've seen you on, everything, every event, everything, you're just like, hey, and here's the flosser.
Well, because what I've learned is people have a hard time like putting it in their brain.
Yeah.
And so I have one in my purse. So I do have it with me at all times.
As you what business owner doesn't have their product in their bag?
You gotta have samples.
Okay, so you guys jumped on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So I've run a few businesses that were smaller when I was younger, and Danny's like, I want to do this. And I was like, no way. Like, I have 5 kids. You run a dental office. You just started making money as a dentist. Like,
yeah.
This is my question. This is my first question I had all morning as I was listening to you. I'm like, why would you do this? I have a good friend who's a dentist. It's 4 days a week. You make big, large bags of cash. Why put yourself through this?
Because he was feeling all the anxiety of his patients, and he was like, I need to help them not feel anxious.
Scott, I know this is rare for you to hear, but this is called being an empath. And that is Dr. Danny.
I'm dead inside. I have nothing left. I have one feeling left.
Scott.
It's barely hanging on. Come on.
Most dentists actually like really struggle with this because their patients come into the chair and they're like, I want to be somewhere else. I don't like you. You cause me pain. And he was like, I'm actually here to help you. Let me help you. And so older patients, their only solution right now is a water pick. But the problem is because of dexterity issues. But the problem is they're not getting the rubbing. It's like if you go through a car wash and you never like cleaned off the bugs. When you get out of the car wash, all the bugs are still there.
Mm-hmm.
And so our product actually like scrapes the sides of the teeth and cleans off the gums.
So how did you get on Kickstarter?
So I said to him, you have to prove to me that people want this product.
Oh my God. I love a husband and wife duo. This is great.
I know. I don't know how to do it.
It's very poorly. So I said to him, like, you have to show me that hygienists back us because we've seen that there's a lot of gimmicky dental products. So like the D2C will take it for like 2 or 3 years, but then dentists and hygienists are like, that's bad. So then it like kind of stops. So I was like, I need dentists and hygienists to back us. So we actually sent 500 flossers to hygienists all over the nation. And we're like, give us your feedback. So we did 2 things. We did the Kickstarters and then we did the hygienists.
But you had to have the discussion of a household going, listen, okay, you want to do this? Whatever money I have, you don't go to a bank. You're like, okay, we got the prototypes, the molding. I mean, getting the engineering, this costs a fortune. This is a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think you can just, stumble off the couch and create a product.
Oh no. If I would have known, if we would have both known how much money it would have cost, it may have been a bigger hurdle too.
Oh, naivety is so lovely.
Yes, it is. But the great thing about not being naive brings innovation. Because if we would have known more, I don't know if we would have done it.
No, right. No, which thank goodness you did because we're all healthy.
Now everyone is healthier. And I really do believe that we will change oral health with our product.
Now, Summer, did you know, I've just learned this, that, and again, I say these things to my wife, like I'm really bringing something to the table because I was listening to you and whatever. And I'm like, God, did you know that flossing actually can reduce your likelihood of heart disease and dementia and all this? And she's just like, oh yeah, I knew that.
They
I didn't
tell you
know
that at
that.
the dentist. They tell you that at the
Every
dentist.
time, I don't know how she basically understands things better than I do and remembers them all. It's just so hard. Anyway,
Probably because she's a woman and she listened.
probably.
We're having Brynn on more often.
Hold on, that was a good play.
You know what? Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, I love that you said that. You're right. You know our show.
All right, so let's talk. Okay, so you went to Kickstarter, you put it on there.
Yeah, let's speed it up.
I would love to know, and I'm sure our listeners would too, how much did you raise on Kickstarter and what percentage of that was the total investment? So how much of your own money did you have to actually put into this, and what was that time period?
Wait, can I guess? Can I have a guess?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
$194,000.
Wow, that was a really good guess. So we did make $194,000 doing the Kickstarter event. So
You just had to win something, Brynn. You don't know the game show coming up, and I never win, so I had to win something.
But we raised $350,000 from friends and family. So
Wow.
Oh,
That's amazing.
we had to do that. There's no way we could have gotten where we were without that. So we raised the money first. We made the mold, and then we did the Kickstarter, which I know that sounds almost silly to do it that way, but I didn't want to do this project without hygienists backing us. So we made samples for them to try first.
Product testing, that's so important.
Yeah, but I feel like we could have done it a different way to maybe not spend so much money. But doing the Kickstarter was so good. We got 3,500 people to buy our product. And so that showed me, okay,
There's
people
an interest.
want something to help them floss more easily. And then doing the hygienist.
sorry, I told you. I warned you.
And then I love it. My husband, the hygienist, 95% of them said they'd recommend it to their patients. And 74% of them said it was better than any tool that existed.
Wow.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I can do this now. I can back you. Because my husband originally was going to do it all.
Right.
And then he realized I can't be a dentist and do this. And we don't have enough money for me to not work. And I was like, well, I know how to run businesses. Let me do this.
Here we go.
There it is. There's the answer to all your questions right there. So you get this thing up and going. You're on Shopify. I listened to you. The MOQ was also, I was like, oh, hail to the no.
Minimum order quantity.
15,000 units you had to buy of this thing with $500,000.
So that was when we did this rechargeable one. Our very first, we had a minimal viable product when we started. And that MOQ was only 5,000.
Oh God, thank goodness.
It's a much smaller number.
I was stressed out for you.
No, I mean, I was stressed out for me too, but you have to start somewhere. So
See, this is, we need people like you, Brynn. You tell the story. Oh, we raised 350 from friends and family. I grew up in a Jewish household. The guilt alone of that, especially tied with money. I'm weird about money anyway. I mean, I can't even imagine just walking through life with that stress.
Oh, no.
Thank you for doing
it. Weighs on my shoulder so much. It's like why I never gave up, because if I promise someone something, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's a benefit and a curse to raise money from friends and family, because I remember like, okay, I got this money from this person. I have to figure out how to make their money multiply.
Yeah. It's, again, shout out you. Like, thank God there's people like you guys who do this and have the bravery, because wow, that's impressive. Like, that is amazing. Okay. So then you get up, you go and you're kicking ass, and then what?
Well, we raised more money because we had to put it in order for 15,000 units. So in June of 2022, we still didn't have it on the shelf to buy, but we had enough prototypes that. So this is the annoying thing. We had prototypes in November. And then in March, we were supposed to fulfill our Kickstarter. But and it was a blessing, because we had all of those flossers out to the hygienists, we started getting feedback on things that were wrong with it. And so I got to spend the next 6 months fixing all those problems. But that meant that the consumers that got our product got one that worked really good. So it was a blessing and a curse, because I felt so much stress from Kickstarter, because those people message you and they're like, you told me I'd have it in March and I don't have it. And it's April.
Right.
I mean, we shouldn't have said we'd had it in March, because we did the Kickstarter and it ended in November. We got it to them within a year. So I am proud of that. But Kickstarter can be its own stress. Like, you have to
I'm sure. Yeah.
fulfill, you have to have all these things but it's a very good learning curve that's really fast. So if I had to do it again, I would definitely change different things. We did not price it high enough on Kickstarter.
Okay. So why did you choose, what was the intro MSRP, and why did you choose that number initially? And then what would it have been? So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Dr. Snyder picked the $55.
Yes, our first, like, it's all, I'm always in trouble. The husband's always, I'm making mistakes left and right. I love it. That's fantastic. Well, Dr. Snyder. No longer is it Danny or my husband. Dr. Snyder's like, this thing's got to be $79.
So after doing all of the learning from Kickstarter, we learned there's no way we can charge $55. We won't have enough of a margin. So unless you have a finance background, you should always have someone with finance help you figure out your pricing.
There you go. That is a
wow.
juicy nugget right there.
Boom. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I was so enthralled by the story, I forgot to hit the button.
And so, like, things we didn't think about was like, okay, this is how much it comes from the factory, but we have to ship it from the factory to us. So we have to pay that shipping. And then we have to ship it from us to the customer. So the shipping, anyone who's smart would actually get into shipping, because shipping, it's just such a big part of your cost.
Oh, but the margin thing. So your product margin, right, from your landed cost, meaning all of the dollars, and this isn't your production cost. This isn't your capital cost. I get it in the door. It's in my warehouse for X amount the total retail this. I'm telling you, I'm getting to the point on e-com, Amazon, whatever, even retail. If you're not an 85, 90% initial markup, which is IMU, it's getting harder to do it, is my point. And there's too many pressures on that. But that was a hard lesson learned, it sounds like.
Yeah. And now we have tariffs that are going to add even more. So we're in big trouble.
Well, you and everyone else, it's awful right now. So do you know what percentage your category is going to get hit with right now?
Right now, our product already had a little bit of a tariff. So from what I understand, we don't have a tariff coming right this minute.
Right.
But the future is so unknown that someone said it could go up 20%. The tariff could go to 20%. If it did that, we would have to increase our product costs by that.
At least 20%. Yeah.
So I think it's hard for people who don't understand that tariffs actually go to the company.
Well, yeah, and then it ends up on the consumers.
Well, because most people don't know it. I mean, I was getting a facial the other day, and the woman goes, "Well, I don't buy anything from Canada," and I was like, "Oh dear."
Oh no,
ma'am. Your wood, your paper, your water, they
don't understand cars go back. Cars go back and forth. They don't understand that, like, your bar that you eat after yoga has many parts made and they come from different, like, people just don't understand it because it doesn't really get talked about in school.
I'm going to start a new podcast. Welcome to Tariff Talk. Here's your discussion point. Tariffs. Please. China. Go ahead. Anyway.
Never mind. Go ahead.
So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we want to learn more about your Amazon journey and how you have been finding that whole marketplace and what you're doing to be successful on it right after this.
This is Tom Logan, co-founder and CEO here at Coley, and you're listening to Always Off Brand.
All right, we are back after our quick break with Brynn Snyder, SLATE FLOSSER CEO. She's here to discuss what it took to be successful on Amazon, as their brand is really new. It's only a couple of years old. So tell us, Brynn, when you decided you had a Shopify account, at what point were you like, if we want to get this product to the masses, we got to get on Amazon? At what point during your business did you decide to do this, and how did you go about it?
Well, we were actually super duper scared to go on Amazon because we're a complete new category, and we're like, will people even be able to find us? How will they know? And then we were also extremely worried about knockoffs. But then what we realized was, well, if we go first, then we should have better ranking, and then we just have to like maintain our presence. So that we also what really pushed us through was our Facebook got hacked, and so we didn't have meta ads running. And I was like, "Okay, it's time to do Amazon."
Oh yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
you had all your eggs in one basket, and it's like, and now that basket has disappeared. So
Yeah, so
That's my game show fail sound effect. It's rarely used, and that's why.
it's so sad. It was really hard. So we talked with our agency that was helping us at the time, and we're like, I tried to do Amazon like
Yourself?
by myself for
You
about a
sweet-
week, and
you
I was like,
sweet, tiny
this is not
poor
going to
thing.
work.
But you're bootstrapping this stuff. I get it.
Yeah, and it was like I wasn't even really paying myself, and a lot of my money was going to my ad agency, and they were willing to help me do ads on Amazon, but they didn't have any experience with Amazon. So that's when,
That's a great point right there.
and it's hard.
Kind
It's
of
a different thing.
terrifying, but how did that go for you? What was did you stay with them, or did you find another Amazon specific agency?
Yeah, so we ultimately, this is why I love networking and meeting people like you guys or other people is I only know what I know, and other people know a lot more. And so I reached out to a friend who does Meta, and I said, I really need an Amazon agency. Who have you worked with that you love? This wasn't my agency. This was a friend's agency. And I was like, and they were like, this girl, she's awesome. And she's good at starting with startups, because some agencies don't know how to work with startups. Like, we're chaos.
That's
We
so
are,
true.
like, on fires. So you need to find someone who can deal with that.
Oh, could you say that like 7 more times?
You need
I
an
just went
agency
through
that
that.
knows a startup.
Yeah. You guys are chaos. You drive me crazy, by the way. I love you
Yeah.
all. But I just want to reach through the screen and just go, what are you doing? Stop it.
It's
I think
hard.
it's so hard because we're just worried about cash flow.
right.
And when ads don't perform, you're like, I don't know what to do. So you're like, how do I cut costs? Well, I'm going to cut the agencies. But what I've learned now is don't cut the agencies. They are your lifeblood. They are what gives you what you need.
Say it again for the kids in the back.
How
It's
did
so
you-
important?
How did you learn that lesson?
Well, I think it's hard. You think that the agency is your problem, but it's not necessarily the agency that's your problem.
Oh my God. Brynn, I need you in my, like, I literally, I need it so I can play your little video like every time when I'm talking to either. This is fantastic. You're right. Go ahead.
But
Sorry,
it's
I'm
hard.
so
You have to be able to trust your agency. And so, but the reason I've changed agencies a bunch for Meta Google, but the reason you have to also know, like, a $10,000 agency costs that much because they have a big team and they have people that are teaching you what to do. But my first agency was little itty bitty. They charged me $350.
Nice.
A month?
But that's what I needed when I made $5,000 the first month. I couldn't pay $10,000 to an agency. So
Yeah. Right.
my second agency was too big for me at the time.
Mhm.
I got them, and I was just like hoping that they could do it, but they spent a ton of money in like a matter of a month, because they were used to like, hey, we spent 20 grand on ads. We spent 25 grand on ads, and they hadn't learned enough about my brand to do that. But
that was their mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But then the next agency that I had, they were perfect. It was like, the Three Little Bears. Mm-hmm. I had tried all the things. They were affordable enough. They were $5,000 a month. They had experience working with younger brands. And I learned about them through networking with other female founders. So I think it's really important to ask people, like, who do you have and why are they good and what do you like about them?
Yeah.
Because you don't know otherwise. So I got that brand and we started rocking. It was really fun to see the power of ads and how it can really, really help.
What was the breakthrough on the trust? Because true partnership is like, if you get the right agency, they care, right? They're never going to care as much as you do, but it's just like any other relationship. It's like dating, it's like marriage, like anything. You have to have that trust. And you know what? Stuff doesn't go great all the time. And usually it's in the down times when you have to build that, you have to hang in there with them. How did you break through to that? Because I think that's a common problem for people like yourself.
I had to learn that actually the hard way. So I actually let that agency go.
What? Why? Why?
Because I didn't have that relationship with the owner that I felt like he was completely invested in us. And I had to learn that I was wrong. Like, I had to learn that all agencies, just like a startup, are going to have up and down times with their ad performance. And I just felt like, well, that ad worked last month. It should work this month, and what you learn is like, and new agencies, they tell you like, oh, I can do this. I'm going to audit you and I can promise you this and this and this. And so I was like, okay, well, these people said that they can do it, so I'm going to go do it. So I did. And I learned that.
So wait, you were with the third one that was great and you grew. Then all of a sudden somebody came new, a shiny new thing or whatever, and said, hey, what you're doing is not good. Like, I'm auditing you and this is wrong. This is wrong. We can fix you up. Boom. We can take you to the stars. Right. Mm-hmm. Is that what happened?
Exactly.
Yeah. They'll sell you the moon.
Yeah.
And I am now with that agency and things are performing the same as with the other agency, but they actually have data that I can see. And that is why I'm choosing to stay with them, because I don't just trust them, because I'm like, when I see the data from them, I can tell they're trying. And so it's like hard. I don't know. So I am a cross country coach and.
Because you need a couple other things to do.
Well, no, my kids go to cross country anyways, so I'm just their coach.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is like, if you only see the end result, you don't love the kid that got 70th, right? But if you see the kid that's running and giving his all, you're able to say like, that boy, he went from being a 12-minute mile to being an 11-minute mile. And that is huge. So I feel like that's the same with like agencies. If you can see the data, you can see like, okay, this is where we're coming. This is why it's not working. And that actually gives us feedback on, let's make these new ads that change the way we do stuff. So I think that our Amazon agency also started doing better data, and that helped us a lot. It just gives you like,
what data? What is important? What data is?
Oh, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I mean, what teaches you from, what do you look at? What matters to you? So
the like Facebook meta spreadsheet doesn't really matter to me, because that's just the data that they're giving you. Like the ROAS is nice, but what I want to do is I want to learn from the ads. So they look at hook rate. They tell me what did hook, what didn't hook, so that I can fix my hook for the next thing. They also like have like green, they like pull all the ads and then they color them green, red, yellow. And we as a group said, okay, what is successful to us? Anything under this mark is not successful. And I think it's hard to know in your industry, because I think the problem is like I sometimes compare myself to other industries, but oral health is different than
So
earrings.
different.
It's different than t-shirts. So I'm still learning what that is, because there aren't a lot of little guys in the oral health space. There's just a lot of big guys.
Yeah.
Right. So is that agency providing you with internal software that they have as proprietary, or are they using a third-party software to give you that data?
So we use Triple Whale, and we also, they create a Google Sheet, and every week they send us like an update of their own like notes, and then every other week we meet.
Good. And that's working for you, because every agency does it so differently. So it's always interesting to hear what's working for you.
Yeah, I think having the data helps me, because then I don't feel like I want to fire them.
Well, it helps you understand their decision process and their strategy a little bit more. And it also educates you on your brand and what keywords are working, or, you know, what your share of shelf is on that marketplace. So it's important.
So what Amazon metrics are you looking for? What's important to you there?
We look at ACOS and tacos a lot. We see like what are other products that people are buying with us. I think overall, what's been sad is when we were little, we didn't have to pay as much for ads, because we were like, no other companies were bidding on us.
Exactly.
But now we're big enough that like it's like a blessing and a curse. And now I'm like, Waterpik is bidding on SLATE. Like the fact that they're doing that makes me be like, okay, I kind of am a bigger deal now. They're paying attention.
They're noticing.
Are they bidding on your name brand, or are they bidding within the category?
On my name brand.
Yeah.
So this is the plight of all, and I deal with this with small brands like you. Is it costs a fortune? I can't get we use return on ad spend. We use the total return on ad spend, or the marketing efficiency ratio, and whatever. I can't. It's such a struggle to compete now, because there's so much competition. The cost per click on Amazon versus outside of Amazon on Meta and Google is like, I don't know, 20 times depending on the category and what have you. So I'm, how do you do it, Brynn? How do you cut through? I'm looking for answers, and you're my first stop.
Well, I'm not that smart. So everyone else. I mean, no, I am. I'm trying. I'm learning so much. But what I learned about Amazon is the beauty of Amazon is that people are looking for oral health and they're ready to buy. So their intent is high. But the bad side is that we were the only company selling our product. We were crushing it. I was so excited. And then we got 10 knockoffs.
Oh.
But the beauty of it is no one has knocked off our floss head, because they can't. It's too hard, and we have a patent on it. So the problem is now I have to educate people. I have to show them why our product is better and why it's special.
Yeah. Well, and people don't like to read, especially on Amazon. And you know what this reminds me of is a couple years ago, we had the guys that made the little fire pits, little tiny one. And this exact same thing happened, Brynn. Yep. They were the first one. And then a couple months later, all these knockoffs started taking even stealing their images and selling the product.
I have to tell everyone about this. So I actually learned this on Kenny Campbell's website. He told me about IP Moat, and it's like my favorite thing ever.
What is this?
So it's like a monthly fee. I think it's like $175 up to $600, depending on how many things you use. But you put your product on it, you put your images on it, and it flags you, and it tells you when your product is showing up on eBay, on Alibaba, on Amazon. And I just go and I click them and I say remove from listing, and it takes them down.
What's this? Remind me what it's called again.
It's called ipmoat.ai.
MOTE, Moat?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Every single person needs that product.
That's
Like-
a juicy nugget.
So it's because the knockoffs are so dang annoying and they cost you money. And
Yeah.
like I was having my lawyer look at it at first, and that's like, there goes $1,000. I was like, I can't afford for my lawyer to be checking these things or to be taking them down. And like someone in Dubai copied our website exactly. And I was just like, they can't be selling my product. So I'm very confused.
Yeah.
But
This is the world, and on Amazon, there's a point. It's a whack-a-mole situation. It's been like that forever, right? The arbitrage. These people, if they find you're killing it, they will just the bots will come up with something and knock you off and what have you. The City Bonfire story is again, they've moved on. They're doing great, but the problem is they didn't have a utility patent. They didn't even have a design patent really. So if you don't have a utility or design patent, good luck to you, because you can't. Amazon's trying to be better about this, and they have certain tools you can use to try and fight this. But again, if you don't have the right trademarks and patents, there's nothing you can do.
yeah, I think it's also really frustrating because lawyers cost so much money that you could put yourself out of business if you start fighting everyone for your stuff. So you have to make money so you can get a lawyer. So that's our goal, is trying to be profitable enough that we can fight those other things.
Yeah.
Also, something you want to know is you need to trademark your product in China, because there's been this thing where like people will see successful products and then they trademark them in China and then they stop them from going out of port. This happened to my friend, and so then they had to pay the Chinese company to get their own product for themselves.
And remind us again, I know we have our patent lawyer that we reach out to on the AOB.
Tim Hart is our trademark lawyer. Yeah.
Remind me, how long does it take to get a patent approved?
Forever. So
it's going to take longer now, by the way.
Why? Oh, yes. Because
he's basically canned everybody in the USPTO. So Jim Hart, our official trademark lawyer of the AOB, he basically did a post that it was 8 months. Now it's looking at 12, 14, 16. Actually, no one knows because everybody, they've gutted it.
Oh my
but
God.
patents take forever. It could take you 3 years, 5 years to get a utility patent. Is very expensive, right, Brynn? I mean, you tell me.
So we have spent over $50,000 working on our patent, but the cool thing is what I like is we applied for ours in 2020. We were the first person to do a patent like ours. So, but you don't know that when you apply for your patent, there could be 100 patents out there, right?
Oh, right.
And you're just like, please, please, please.
Okay. So I think the important informative things, if there's a lot of early people who were sitting in your chair, again, a year ago, they're not quite as big as you yet, but they're trying to be. You say this all the time, but there's some big things that you learned that were kind of the breakthrough that kind of took off. What do you want to say to those people that are sitting there working their butts off, putting in unbelievable hours, and they feel like they take 2 steps forward and 2 steps back?
You will outgrow people. So if you can't afford a $10,000 agency, don't get one. Right?
Yes.
So start somewhere, and when you outgrow them because you're profitable, then move on to the next thing. I just like I've lost money trying a few things because I was like, oh, if I pay this influencer $5,000, I'm gonna make $1 million. The small ones is
micro influencers. Yeah.
Micro influencers are better than the big guys. I've learned, but
or a hen influencer. A hen influencer is actually very prescriptive.
Okay. So if I had to tell, like if I was sitting beside someone who was like, Brynn, where do I start? How do I get there? I would say, start with Meta and Google. Then once you have that working, then go to TikTok, because TikTok is about awareness, not about profit. I have not really made money on that. So just know, like, TikTok's not going to give you money, but it's going to bring awareness to your product.
100%.
So you have to, when you're littler, the money has to come back to you. So we went to Amazon, and I love that. We tried Pinterest for our business. It didn't work. I feel like if I was in like housing or like lighting,
Brynn,
it would work.
If you find someone that has had financial success with Pinterest, please send them our way. We'd love to learn, because Pinterest will send you a lot of traffic, and that's about it.
Yeah, what we do at SLATE is we try something, and if it doesn't work, we don't do it anymore. So we put $500 a month towards Pinterest to see what would happen, and we did it for a whole year and nothing happened. So that's when we were like, okay, what I wish I would have done better was actually focused a little more on SEO. But luckily we just started doing SEO, and our people are crushing it. So it's super fun.
It's becoming more and more and more. It's always important, because the rising cost of ads and paid, the organic and the SEO is becoming even more important. It's something you got to do, unfortunately. And
then we do a lot. We're trying I was told, and this might not be right, but I was told like Meta Google should be 40% of your income. Organic should be 40% of your income, and email and SMS should be 20%. I don't know if this is right, but that's kind of what I've been gauging things off of. Would you guys agree or disagree?
It depends on the business, but I think you need to put parameters when you're starting out of how much should come from each. You don't want too much coming from email and SMS, because that means you're not bringing in new customers. So if a big chunk of your sales are coming from email, well, that's not good, because you need to be growing your base business.
But we're trying to grow our list. So I feel like if you're growing your list, then you are technically have new. So what we do to build our list is we do a lot of brand partnerships, and we do some giveaways. I know not all brands like that, but what I've learned is like I learn the most when I have networking with other businesses. So I learn from a $10 million company, and they tell me all the things. And then I'm like, hey, would you partner up with a brand giveaway with us? And it's been really fun that way.
That's an amazing way to get your name out there, because if you are associating yourself with a brand that someone else trusts, then they will innately trust you as well.
But a true collab isn't, hey, you're going to pay me $100,000. I might get you on here or whatever. There's a lot of paid black holes out there that people try because they don't know anybody. They get allured by a big brand or a big thing, and they're like, oh yeah, that'll be great. And then the return is zero or very little. And so expectations are blown. We got a keyword game to play, but I mean, you've put out so many juicy nuggets, so many things that have been just amazing. We could go on, and that's a lot of our listeners are like pissed when we do that, when I cut you off and we go to play the game, because like, no, I want to hear more from Brynn. I don't need your game.
Hopefully it was helpful.
I think it was great. We'll be back with the world's fastest growing game show. What's that keyword? Not really, but I just like saying it.
I'm Russ Derringer, CEO and founder of Stratably. You're listening to Always Off Brand.
Finally, a game show nerdier than an Excel V lookup. It's time for What's That Keyword? Here's your host, Hayley on the news.
All right, Brynn Snyder, she stuck around to play What's That Keyword? Since y'all are new here, let me lay down the rules. I am going to give you a product that is sold on Amazon.com, and you have to guess the keyword or keyword phrase that converted for this product. So what did the customer type in to buy this product? All right, your first Amazon product today is an outdoor storage shed / tiny house.
All right, I'm going with she shed.
Ooh, all right. All right.
Well,
Scott,
I'm coming to you from Manhut Studios, so I'm going to say Manhut.
I mean, why isn't it just an outdoor shed?
Perfect.
I mean, yeah.
It can be.
All right. Well, we didn't have a winner for that one, but I was looking for a $19,000 house. So $19,000 house is actually trending on a lot of social channels right now. no kidding, being searched at least 32,000 times a week on Amazon right now.
Wow.
And
Because Amazon's making their own, right?
well, okay, so it's a foldable. It comes like folded
Yeah.
down in a kit on a pallet, and then they push up the walls, and it's this instant tiny house or shed or she shed, whatever, man hut.
But it doesn't have running water or anything?
No, it's just the shed.
Yeah,
So,
see, I'm
Do
team.
people not see that like they're gonna have to invest another 40 grand in that?
Have you, if you've learned nothing in the 2 years, have you learned that people aren't that bright?
Well, that's like, I think everyone wants to know like why flossing is beneficial and all the health benefits, but they just want it to be easy. I was
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. That's what I have some other suggestions.
All
for
right.
you.
Who loves classic SNL? Just do me a favor and get off of the shed. Boys, just get off the shed. All right. Will Ferrell has spoken. Your next Amazon product. Your next Amazon product is the SLATE electric dental flosser.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that.
No, this isn't fair. Brynn should know this.
Well, we'll see if Brynn
now I'm
knows.
nervous.
Okay, so think a little outside the box. That's my only hint.
Yes,
All right, you guys,
I'm
let's
very
go.
literal right now.
Okay.
Go ahead. Somebody guess.
All right. Easy flossing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Power dental flosser.
She went with the real one. All right, Scott.
Power dental flosser. I went
You
with
need to be more creative, huh?
electric flossing.
Wow. I was looking for vibrating flosser.
Oh, that's right.
Vibrating flosser.
I almost went vibrating, and I was like, if Brynn wasn't on, I would have. But you know,
Well,
Fun
you
fact.
actually got your Amazon store got pulled down because it was
Yes,
they thought it was
so-
Oh.
In September, I was so sad. We were just crushing it on Amazon. We were #1. On a Friday, we got taken down, and we were like, "What?" It was
What?
because someone reported us as a personal
Yes.
vibration device, and I was like,
it was probably a bot. Bad bot. Bad
"Well,
bot,
it's
bad
so
bot.
annoying because they sell that on Amazon, but it's not my category, so they took us
Yep.
down, and it took 5 days to get up because it was a weekend, I think,
Wow.
and it destroyed us. It put us down at #10, but like a month later, we got back to #2. And right now we're half-halvesy. Sometimes we're 1, sometimes we're 2.
yep.
But the thing that I know is people will know that our product, once they use it, is the best product out there.
I'm so
Awesome.
excited to try it.
Well, sounds good. All right. Well, we didn't have a winner today, even though Summer was back. You know, Scott won last week, Summer.
No, I didn't. The guest one.
Oh, that's right.
I
Oh my
appreciate
gosh.
you. That's kind
Woo!
of you. Very
All right,
sweet
the
of you.
guest won last week. Thanks for playing. That was another awesome round of What's That Keyword? We'll be right back with the news.
Hey, I'm Dan Brown, your CEO of Channel Key, and you're listening to Always Off Brand.
Well, that's all been fun and games, but it's that time, the time America has been waiting for. It's time for the news.
Oh, all right. So Amazon is testing a new search feature that shows products it doesn't sell. Now, this is still in beta. It's not available on all searches. It's only available on mobile right now. But if someone typed in the SLATE dental flosser and Amazon.com doesn't sell it, it's going to show your D2C site. Now, I don't have a ton of information. No one really has a ton of information. So if you guys have more than I do, let me know. But I'm not sure how this algorithm is working and if it's a sponsored thing. Have you heard about this?
This is funny because when I first started in this e-com business, Amazon used to have sponsored ads that you could advertise your brand on Amazon and drive consumers off Amazon onto your site.
Yeah.
I used to do it for Nordstrom. It was a huge success. And then Amazon got rid of it because they wanted to keep people on their site.
Right.
So now they're going back. It's got to be a sponsored thing. People
think so
have to be
too.
paying for it. And I think, I don't know what I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't know.
So Kiri Masters, friend of the show, she has now her new breakfast club,
Yeah.
Retail Media Breakfast Club, which is great. She did a whole thing on this. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of chatter.
Ooh.
This is an advertising money grab. It's all about the advertising. It's 1,000% about the advertising. I just posted Adidas now is using Buy with Prime this spring. Adidas is going to do Buy with Prime.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going, why would what? And the only reason I can think of it is advertising. They're going to use Amazon's first party and their big machine to drive traffic to Adidas on these specific SKUs or something. I don't know.
That's a genius move though on their part. And holy smokes, the guy at Buy with Prime who landed that account, could be good for him.
But this is, I think, the same thing. It's about ads. They did $56 billion in ad revenue, and it's at 90% margin.
Well,
80, 90.
From what I understand is like Amazon's losing money almost everywhere else, but they make the money all on advertising. And so how else are they going to make
I don't know
money?
where you're hearing that, but that is just not the case.
No, they make money everywhere. Every
Their
corner.
operating margin is through the roof. It has been since 22.
Okay, well, yeah, I was
at
an accelerator and they were just talking about how they have
Amazon likes to say,
oh yeah,
okay, maybe that's
they're struggling with it.
Well,
But they're also investing a ton in operations and testing new channels. Like they're constantly taking their profit and putting it somewhere else. So yes, it doesn't look like they're profitable because they're taking the money they make and they're investing it in other things to try to test other ways of operating, which is great.
I think it is really interesting story, Hayley, though, that they're all of a sudden going to be like,
yeah, I just thought it was a neat little plug. Like it's got to be sponsored and it's an AI feature. So they're using visuals to make that connection of, okay, well, we don't sell it, but this guy does. So then is there going to be some kind of disconnect though on brand name? Like what if it's a knockoff?
No, what's going to happen is Amazon's going to see a SLATE flosser that's getting so much traffic and Amazon's going to say, can we make it?
Yeah. All right. You know what's not temporary is the wrap up. And we'll be right back with Summer's absolute favorite portion of our show. It's the wrap up coming up next.
This is Shannon Roddy, Head of Business Development at Avenue 7 Media, and you are listening to Always Off Brand.
I love bringing founders onto the show. I mean, what they learn so quickly and crash and burn and learn from and get better at, it's just inspiring, but also level sets for people.
Yes.
This is why I love the wrap up. But one of the things that Brynn said multiple times is networking and her success with networking, right?
That is so true. What a great takeaway, Summer.
Yeah, she said she had a group of women in a text string and they just bounce ideas off each other. They're all entrepreneurs or business women, and I loved that.
This is why you're the wrap-up person, Summer. This is why we depend on you to be the wrap-up person.
That's right, because why? People matter. And you are listening to Always
Brand.
Please
like, please share, please subscribe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
I forgot that I do that part of the wrap-up.
That's okay. You paused and I was like, I got it.
Thanks, Hayley. I totally forgot. I wish people would like, subscribe, and comment.
I'd like to say a top 5 goodbye.
Hey there, this is Hayley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.